It's another day and it's another rookie mock draft. I had another one sent in to me, and as you know, when I get a rookie mock draft or draft sent to me, I'll go over on the channel so you guys can get a view of the market. As you know, a few weeks prior, or a week and a half prior, or however long ago that was, we collected ADP off mock drafts and real drafts and all the drafts we could find. Check that in archives. I'll have that linked below. Make sure you hit that subscribe button because I'm having all kinds of rookie draft content, dynasty fantasy football content, player clips on your rookies, and anything else I can think of or find to share with you guys. But today we're doing a 2-round, 1 QB rookie mock draft that was sent to me. I think it was actually a real draft. I keep saying mock draft because I did a million of them. But this one was an actual real draft. This is just the first 2 rounds of it. Didn't get the other 2, I don't think. But here it is. Let's get this started with the first round. With it being 1 QB, you know who's going to be the 101, and that's Bijan Robinson. High-end draft capital from the Falcons. Generational talent. Should be in line for a ton of touches. Been drafted on underdog recently. He's going at like 107, 109 in best ball drafts, redraft style. So he is up there in value. This is not a surprise to anybody. Going to 102. This pick's also not a surprise. Pretty much have 2 guys in line for this. But we're looking at Jahmyr Gibbs of the Detroit Lions. Had a little bit of an injury hiccup in camp recently. However, this guy's in line for a lot of touches as well. Catching the ball out of the backfield. He's also very explosive. Has a high-end draft capital. Indicates he's going to get a lot of touches. And I look for him to be the guy there for a long time. I look for him to be productive. And I look for him to hold his dynasty value for a bit. Even if he doesn't hit his upside. Even if he doesn't do well. I look for him to hold his value for a bit. Give you opportunity to do whatever you want. That's the thing about these young prospects who are highly regarded coming out. They're young. The value stays up there for a little bit. You can make a decision off that. The safety net is there with the value. So that's a good thing about Jahmyr Gibbs. Also, with this other guy here that we're drafting at the 103, top end wide receiver. Not hearing much about him. I am going to have some clips on the channel, so keep an eye on that. That should be coming out soon. But Jackson Smith-Njigba of the Seattle Seahawks. Dude's smooth. He's a smooth route runner. Should be in the slot a lot, but that doesn't mean he can't be collecting targets. Very productive at Ohio State when he was healthy. Very productive in high school. We covered high school footage on this dude. Dude was nuanced then. He's nuanced now. And look for him to just wreak havoc in this wide receiver depth chart early and often in his career. 104 here, we got a surprise. This is a surprise pick here. Usually he goes about the 108 range, 109 range. Wide receiver. Went in the first round, though. But, you know what? I wouldn't be surprised he is one of the most productive wide receivers in this class. That's Zay Flowers of the Ravens. He's being portrayed as Lamar Jackson's new Marquise Brown. And, you know what? That can be adequate because he can get downfield. He is a nuanced route runner, good hands, good ball skills, a lot of good stuff in his profile. Lamar Jackson can sling it deep, and that can fit in well with Flowers. And with the development of this offense, with Jackson getting that contract, this is going to be fun to watch for the future. At 105 here, we got another wide receiver coming off the board. And we're in that range of the big wide receiver. We're in that range where the wide receivers are coming off the board. And you just take your guy. Jordan Addison of the Vikings. Coming off the board here at the 105. The thing about this is he's pretty damn safe. Look at his production profile. Pretty safe. Broke out with 2 different collegiate programs. Got Kenny Pickett drafted in the first round. I don't know how many times I got to say that, but I can't wait for draft season to be over, so I don't have to say it anymore. But Jordan Addison here in a good spot. Even though Justin Jefferson's there, I think they can both eat in this offense. There's a lot of volume in this offense, and Jefferson takes the heat off of him. I did not want Jordan Addison to be a number 1, to be expected to be the top-tier guy. Him playing second fiddle to an alpha like this, I think is perfect for him. And I think the volume could spread his way where he can give you some good fantasy production here and there, some good seasons here and there, and I think as he develops, you're going to like him on your roster. At 106, there's plenty of upside with this wide receiver. Landed in the perfect spot for him. That's Quentin Johnston of the Chargers. I rolled out some clips a couple days ago. Check those out in the archives because he's looking fresh, he's looking good, and he's with Justin Herbert. Dude's got ball skills, dude can get downfield, dude's got speed, he's good after the catch. And he's in a depth chart where the wide receivers are getting older. They're often injured. So this is a good spot for him. is a great spot for him. Is in the AFC West where the points are flying. I don't know of a better spot for him. This is a great landing spot. Good spot here at the 106. At the 107, first tight end's coming off the board. Bet you already guessed it. Dalton Kincaid of the Bills. Good landing spot for him. He could be the wide receiver 2 in this offense or a second receiving option. We'll have to see how that plays out. Also, remember, it takes some time for these tight ends to develop. It could be 2 or 3 years before you start getting anything out of them. It's not like, bam, and these tight ends start hitting. So you might be waiting a little bit. Also, draft capital here at 107 is a little bit higher than usual for the ADP. Usually it's around like 110-ish, 109-ish. At the lowest, maybe around 201, 202 range. Dalton Kincaid, though, is in a good spot. So if you need a tight end, look for him in the first round because that's more than likely where you're going to have to get him. At the 108, one of the top running backs coming off the board is Zach Charbonnet of the Seattle Seahawks. Usually he goes around 201, 202, 203 range, maybe 112, 111. Per all the drafts I see a ton of drafts. Zach Charbonnet a little bit higher than expected, but you know what? At this point, when we're looking at this draft and these slew of players, get your dude. Get your dude, Zach Charbonnet. He's in a clustered offense, but he also has talent. He also has draft capital. Look for him to get the ball. Look for him to get opportunities. Probably just about as many opportunities as some of the other running backs drafted behind him. That's the thing. He could still get some opportunities on this team. Don't really throw the Charbonnet out with the bathwater just yet. This is a franchise that is known to run the ball more heavily than most franchises, and they're just telling you right now that they want to. They drafted 2 backs in this draft. They already had a back from last year's draft. They are spending capital. That's one thing they're saying. Hey, we want to bolster the run game, also the pass game too by getting JSN, but still, they want this offense to have the weapons so Geno Smith can flourish. Going to the 109 here, another player coming off the board here, first quarterback, and that's Anthony Richardson. Shooting for upside here at quarterbacks. Just shooting for upside. Really, if he hits, he's one of the top players in all fantasy. If he doesn't hit, it's catastrophic. At this range, it's kind of high in 1 QB due to the positional advantage at wide receiver and running back, and then comparing that to the quarterbacks. However, you're shooting your shot. I see what you're doing here, and I see what you're thinking at 110. Devin Achane to the Dolphins. One of the other running backs who got drafted on day 2. Has speed to burn. Looks like he's going to be using the offense. Let's see what kind of volume he gets. Let's see how consistent he can be in this offense. That's the only question marks. But when you're getting this part of the first round, you're really just trying to shoot for the upside. And Devin Achane gives you a ton of upside in this offense and with his abilities to catch the ball in the passing game. Also, not running track anymore. Can put on a little bit more weight from that. So that's pretty good when you look at his prospect profile. But then we go to the 111. We have a player sneaking up in the first round, usually go in the second round. And as I talked about per ADP, he goes anywhere from 201 to 301, slides up and down the second round lever. And then we had some people commenting that he does go in the first round a little bit, and we're seeing it here. Jonathan Mingo of the Panthers. This dude is a play waiting to happen. This dude's got ball skills. He's got length. He's got size. And this is in a draft where we don't have many big wide receivers. Many big playmakers. Jonathan Mingo is that guy. We also got Bryce Young there. So this could be a good marination over the years. Getting him at the 111 might be a little pricey. There's a chance since we got a lot of people that need to develop in this offense, you might be able to catch him out a little bit cheaper later. That's the only thing about that. At 112, next player coming off the board, here's another running back. Probably one of my favorite running backs in this draft. Kendre Miller of the Saints. Dude's explosive, has good size adjusted athleticism. I expect him to go in the first round. I do see drafts where he goes 201, 202, 203. Really depends on what happens. Things get weird once you get around 108, 109. And there's just a slew of like 8 to 10 players that just jockey for a position. Kendre Miller's one of them. I like Miller. I like pulling the string on him because a running back that can be productive. We got a pathway here where he can be the guy in the offense. Let's recap round 1 real quick here. Bijan Robinson, first player off the board. No surprise. Gibbs, then JSN. Usually see those two right off the board. And then we have our wide receiver run. Nothing different from there. Flowers, Addison, Johnston. Those 3 locked in for the first round. Always. Dalton Kincaid's up a little bit earlier than expected by a few picks. But you know what? Not too crazy. And then after that, this is where drafts get kind of crazy in the back end of the first round. Charbonnet can be anywhere from this spot to somewhere in the mid-second. His value fluctuates. Anthony Richardson, we know what you're trying to do there. You're trying to shoot the moon ball, and we got respect for that. ADP says maybe a little later, though. Devin Achane, got some upside there. Kendre Miller's my guy. Jonathan Mingo, a little bit higher than ADP, but you know what? He goes in the first round sometimes. That's what I've seen. That's what I've heard, and that's understandable. Let's go into round 2. Let's look at where some of these prospects went to round this draft off. So at the 201, we got Michael Mayer of the Raiders, one of the hot tight end prospects in this draft. This is a deep tight end class, and tight end position is a sticky, hard position to nail. In fantasy, you may not catch a return on your investment early, so he might be a little bit overpriced here, but is a guy that the fantasy community has been looking to draft for the last few years now. Now it's your time. You're catching at 201 instead of like 105 or something. 202, we have another wide receiver coming off the board, and we're looking at Rashee Rice of the Chiefs, or Rashee Rice, or however you want to say it. But another wide receiver going to the Chiefs. Honestly, I don't like his player profile, but I do like his landing spot. So it kind of falls in a sticky situation. As long as you're catching like second-round draft capital-ish, I think it's fine. If you push him up in the first, I think that gets a little too dicey. I think there might be some time for him to develop. You're talking about an older G5 wide receiver that has to move on to another system here with the Chiefs. That might take him some time. However, this could be an offense just waiting for a guy like him to take over, a bigger wide receiver who has good ball skills. So this could be a good spot. When you're making bets like this, you're betting on Patrick Mahomes, you're betting on the system, you're betting on him to flourish in the system, and you're hoping everything marinates. So that is understandable because I can see the upside here and I can see consistency. At 203, we got Josh Downs to the Colts. He floats around this area, mid-second, early mid-second, early third. He just floats, and I can see why it fell in the draft a little bit. Went to the Colts. Now we got Anthony Richardson here. What's the passing volume going to look like? Where is he going to be aligned in targets? Because Michael Pittman's going to be the wide receiver 1 there. Josh Downs probably going to be like the wide receiver 2-ish there. And we got some other guys there as well. Let's see how this looks. Fantasy-wise still, he's got a good profile to lean on. So Josh Downs is a very good player, so there's a chance that he can be relevant in fantasy. This could be a good price for him. 204, we're going quarterback here. Bryce Young to the Panthers, a little bit better value for quarterback, and we are a little bit ambiguous here in the player stock exchange. However, I feel like some of the other skill players I want to go after considering how 1QB works, but Bryce Young isn't going to bust on you either. He's going to give you some sort of production when you're starting your lineups, and maybe you need that on your team. At 205, another quarterback coming off the board because the run has to happen. CJ Stroud of the Texans, going to be starting quarterback for his team, going to give you a starter for your lineup, some depth, and that's what you're going to get here in fantasy, especially on 1QB. 206, one of my favorite wide receivers is coming off the board. We're talking about Marvin Mims of the Denver Broncos. This guy can get you air yards. This guy's got ball skills. KJ Hamler on the outs. We know that. Sutton is old and he's been injured. Jerry Jeudy's going to be doing a short to intermediate. I can definitely see a pathway for Mims. We just got to see how this offense develops with Wilson, with Sean Payton and company. Next is 207. We have Tajay Spears to the Titans. This guy's going to be playing second fiddle. 2, Derrick Henry, one of the best running backs in the league. But he can catch the ball in the backfield. Impressive tape. Check that out. Dude can be productive as well. This team has been drafting mid-round running backs for the last few years now. Someone's going to have to hit. Someone's going to be doing something. And attrition happens to older running backs. The odds just keep increasing. So you might be able to catch some production out of him. At 208, we're going wide receiver again. We're going with Jaden Reed of the Packers. Dude is a quiet producer. Very quiet production profile. Broke out with 2 collegiate teams, was on a low-volume passing offense, but still hit the market share thresholds for you to be interested in him. And with him playing on those low-volume teams, looking at the price point here at 208 in early third round, it's not too bad. I'd be a little nervous if we're paying 112, 110, 111 range, but right here, it's not too bad. You just take your dart throw on your wide receivers. Probably one of the last of the Mohicans when we are looking at the good wide receivers. You got some decent draft capital. You also got a decent tape on him, good highlight package. Jaden Reed's in a good spot here outside of the transition at the quarterback spot and how's this team going to look going forward. 209 here. Running back coming off the board, Tank Bigsby of the Jaguars. He's been growing on me. I need to do rookie rankings here again because he's been growing on me. And the thing is, we want to buy Trevor Lawrence. And when you buy Trevor Lawrence, you buy the offense. And I get it, Travis Etienne's there. But you know what? Most of these running backs are going to be in committees. Most of these teams are going to have 2 good running backs. This is going to be the trend. This is going to be the future. And if we know this is going to be the future, and they're trying to make this the future for quite a long time, it's hard to get multiple good running backs. Maybe you want to get Tank Bigsby. And at 209, back half the second round, I think that's a good price tag considering his draft capital, considering the talent coming out of high school and in college, and considering the team he's on. So what? He's got to share touches. Every running back's got to share touches. I don't see why you don't want to go after Tank Bigsby. At 210, we got Rashawn Johnson to the Bears. Fell to the 4th round. First running back drafted in the 4th round on day 3. First running back off the board. Think of it that way. They came out of day 2 thinking what running back we want, and Rashawn Johnson was the dude. He has a pathway to where he's going to get you production, where he's going to give you opportunity, where he's going to get you attempts. Then you have to see where it materializes from there. I see him going anywhere from top of the 2nd round to back half the 2nd round. I think this is a good value play for him. At 211, we got Sam Laporta of the Lions. I think this is a good value too, considering he's going to get a good opportunity. I'd rather take my tight ends a little later. That way, if I have to wait on them, I don't have sunk cost invested. I don't think 211 is much sunk cost. I think 211 is not too much different than the early 3rd round when you really look at the draft and ranges. I think he's going to get some opportunity. He's got high-end 2nd round draft capital. I think there's a chance where he could be good in this offense. It might take some time, though. At 212, we got Will Levis. This is a 1 QB league, so you're going to wait on this developmental quarterback. I hope you have deep rosters here, and there are other players falling on the board that you can take advantage of. Will Levis, though, could get you some value over time. Just here at value, though, might not be the best play, but you are looking at a quarterback that could be thrust into an opportunity here sooner than later. And if they're going to use him, and if he starts looking good, then they're going to be adding to the passing game more. They're going to make those investments. So Will Levis could be a sneaky play. Be sneakier if you're trying to be a little bit sneakier in the 3rd round. 212, though, kind of pricey. But that's the 2nd round. That's the end of this draft. Let's go over the 2nd round real quick. So the early part of the 2nd round, pretty trendy here. Michael Mayer's usually in the late 1st round, early 2nd round. Rashee Rice usually somewhere in the beginning of the 2nd, mid-2nd. Josh Downs is up and down the 2nd round. Then we got the quarterbacks coming off the board. Little bit high for me personally, but I can understand you're going to see that in your drafts as well. Marvin Mims is a good get. Tajay Spears could get some action due to attrition. Jaden Reed is the last of the Mohicans when it comes to the wide receivers. Tank Bigsby, I think he's a sleeper. Rashawn Johnson's fallen in value a little bit. Sam Laporta is a good value. Will Levis for 1 QB, 2 QB, I understand. That's a good draft, though. I have some good sneaky plays in this draft. I see some guys being drafted a little higher than normal, some different action. That's always good to see. Things aren't going straight off ADP, so we got some differences here. Let me know in the comments who you were able to snag in your rookie drafts, because I know you got a lot of yours completed already. I want to hear about it. I want to hear about your guys and what you did. Make sure you smash that subscribe button on the way out. It's only going to help you going forward building your Dynasty team. I want to thank you for watching. Catch you on the next video.